Now, what in the carnival is going on here? So I never thought I'd say this, but we may actually have a cursed cruise ship. For today's hot topic, and I mean this quite literally, we had a cruise ship's AC system breakdown in the middle of a cruise during the hottest month of all of 2023. I'm of course talking about July. What makes all this even crazier is that this has not only happened once, not happened twice, on multiple occasions, and one of the situations just so happens to be one of the worst cruise ship mishaps in all of the industry's history, which I am going to highlight in today's video. This is the Carnival Sunrise cruise ship, launched in the year 1999, holds just under 3,000 passengers, and cost $420 million to build. However, when this ship originally was launched, it was not known as the Carnival Sunrise, it was known as the Carnival Triumph. During its operations, unfortunately, throughout the year 2010, 2014, and 2017, it suffered, unfortunately, some power loss issues. But there was a big situation that many all know all too well in 2013, in which the ship had an engine fire, unfortunately causing the ship to not only run out of power, but causing the plumbing to break down, which then caused in turn floods with poop in it, and people couldn't use the toilets because the toilets weren't working, and people had to go number two in bags and leave them out inside of the hallways of the cruise ship. This particular incident and smelly story is notoriously known as the poop cruise or cruise from hell, where you have passengers that were stranded in the middle of the ocean for a whopping 4 days until they were towed back over to land. Unfortunately, this crazy story did hurt the reputation of this particular ship for years to come. In 2019, there were renovations and refurbishments to the tune of $200 million on this particular ship, and once all of it was done, the ship was rebranded and renamed to the Carnival Sunrise. Fast forward to now, from July 24th to July 29th of 2023, we had the Carnival Sunrise sailing out of Miami, Florida, going to the Caribbean, Jamaica, and Grand Cayman to be specific, when unfortunately for some select cabins and areas on board, they suffered issues in which the AC systems would stop working. Now keep in mind, this is July, like I said, the hottest month of the year, in which the water temperatures can go anywhere from 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and the area outside as far as the air can reach anywhere between 90 degrees. This would cause the areas inside the ship to reach around 80 degrees or so. Of course, as you could imagine, people being on their vacation, it was a little bit too warm for comfort. However, Carnival did help the passengers combat this by giving them things like ice cream and ice, and giving them fans where they were available. However, unfortunately, there were not enough fans to go around. There were some passengers that had their own fans as well. And if they happened to be on a side of the ship where the sun was directly into their cabin, they would just put the shade over in hopes that it would provide a little bit more comfort than the heat that was actually getting in. You also, of course, had passengers gathering in places like the pools and other areas on board packed like sardines, in which the AC was actually operating. Now, Carnival did come out and make a statement. We had the ambassador of Carnival Cruise Line, John Hill, also make a statement stating that it is because of the warmer temperatures and the record-setting temperatures as to why this could have maybe stressed out the air conditioning machines on board, which, yes, that could be plausible, of course. I will give them that. And also keep in mind that, like I said, this ship is pretty seasoned, built in the year 1999. Even though it has gone through refurbishments, there is just a lot of stress. Carnival does typically, I will say, keep their ships, especially their older ones that are operating, pretty well maintained. But as you could imagine, with tech and stuff that has aged and seasoned, it's going to possibly have this issues every now and then, like you are currently seeing on board. To rectify the situation with the inclement temperatures that a lot of the passengers were experiencing, Carnival was offering a 50% refund. However, the caveat to that, this does not include any port taxes and fees or any onboard purchases such as the drinks, Wi-Fi, or any specialty dining options that you may have purchased while you were on board during your cruise. As you could imagine, people are divided 50-50. A lot of people have made the argument that, yeah, that's somewhat justified. Technically, you're still on vacation, you're still going to the port, so what do you have to complain about? However, there are people on the opposing side, whether they love Carnival or not, stating that by the time you factor in the port taxes and fees and the add-ons you make as far as the purchases while on board, you can't exactly call that 50% refund. If you're going to do 50%, you're going to have to do the whole enchilada. I would agree to both sides of it, and I will say that when it comes to the heat, as somebody that is a Florida native, living in Florida during the summer months, I've had my AC break down on many occasions, and it is the most uncomfortable, stressed out situation that anybody could ever be in. And if anybody's arguing and saying just deal with it, then you clearly have never been in a hot climate like Florida or maybe Arizona, in which you have no AC whatsoever. Actually, you know what? Scratch Arizona. I'm talking about a place with some moisture like Florida or somewhere in the Caribbean, where you are going to have that wet heat, and potentially even, let's say in Florida, we have like in a time during the month month like June and July, well, it'll rain for all of maybe 10 minutes, heavy rain, and then the sun will come right back out, beaming its bright and shiny lights, and then you have the evaporation, thus turning everything essentially into a sauna. Until you have experienced that without no AC, don't come talk to me or anybody else that's making any of the complaints on board the Carnival Sunrise. Now, do I think the passengers that are on board deserve a full refund or a full 100% future cruise credit? Maybe not. However, I do believe that if the ship was not full, which I heard that it possibly was, maybe just move those passengers. And as far as the 50%, give them a full 50% for their expenses and taxes and fees as well. That way you have everybody happy. You're a major cruise line that has billions of dollars. You want people to be happy because, of course, I've mentioned this on multiple occasions. When you have this digital world now, these stories can go viral in a matter of seconds. And just like that, you have this kind of, I want to say, back and forth between people that love Carnival, people that are, I want to say, neutral on the situation, like myself. But when these stories come out and people find interest in them and want to know what's going on, you are now going to create this back and forth thing that honestly doesn't need to happen, especially if you're talking about a service business, like, of course, putting people on a cruise ship to sail off into the sunset and seven seas during their vacation. Many people have attributed this situation to the quick turnaround time for the cruise ships, but I would say it's no different than a plane to a certain extent. You have people come in as a batch that disembark the ship that day, and then that exact same day, hours later, you have embarkation day all over again, or the start of a brand new cruise with a brand new batch of passengers. I do believe that, like I said, these things can and will happen. This is tech that we're dealing with. This is stuff that are going to break 100% occasionally from time to time. It is what it is. But of course, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. As usual, know that I love and appreciate every single one of you. Subscribe if you haven't already. And again, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you later. Take it easy.